Hey, welcome. So today we are diving headfirst into the world of poetry. And look, I know what you might be thinking. Dusty old books, confusing language, but forget all that. We're going to unlock how poets use their craft to tell some of the most powerful stories out there, the ones about our families. Let's see how they pull it off. You ever look at a poem and just feel lost? Like you're trying to crack some kind of secret code? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. It can feel like a private language sometimes. But what if I told you it's not really a code? What if it's more like a toolbox, one that's perfectly designed to build feelings and ideas?
And that really gets to the heart of it, right? This is the central question from our source material. See, a story might just tell you what happened, but a poem tries to make you feel what happened. It uses language in this super concentrated, specific way. So to really get how they do that, we need to take a little peek inside that toolbox.
Okay, let's open it up. Just like a painter has all their different brushes and colors, a poet has a special set of tools they use to create a mood, hammer home a message, and just, paint an entire world using nothing but words. So check this out. Our source gives us this awesome chart that basically lays out the 5 essential tools poets have at their disposal. Let's break them down one by one. It's pretty straightforward.
First up, we've got rhythm. The easiest way to think about this is like the poem's heartbeat. It's that beat, that pulse that gives the words their musical quality.
And then, of course, there's rhyme. We all know this one from nursery rhymes, right? But in the hands of a poet, it's so much more. They use it to connect ideas, to make a line stick in your head long after you've read it, which is a perfect lead-in to repetition. When you see a poet repeating a word or a line, they're not just being lazy. Nope. They're basically taking a giant highlighter to a core idea, telling you, hey, pay attention. This is what really matters.
Now, my personal favorite is imagery. This is language that goes for all 5 senses. It's not just about describing something, it's about making you live it. It's how a poem makes you feel the sun on your skin or smell the rain on the pavement.
And last but not least, the most fun one to say, onomatopoeia. These are literally sound effects in word form. A word like hiss or thump, it doesn't really get filtered by your brain. It goes straight to your ears, dropping you right into the middle of the action.
All right, so we've met the tools, theory's over. Now for the fun part. Let's see them in action. Our source material gives us 3 totally different poems that all dig into this theme of family and where we come from.
We're going to look at artist to artist, Sepia, and Spruce. Each one uses the tools we just talked about, but in its own unique way to explore who we are and the people who made us.
Let's start with artist to artist. The poet hits us with this incredible simile, a comparison using as or like. This isn't just about colorful words, though. It's about a whole legacy. The poem is about a father who had to give up his own dream of being a painter, but in doing that, he passed that creative fire down to his kid, the poet.
The real gut punch of the poem is in this one line. I write, he drew. The father's sacrifice is literally the ink for the child's poems. So that imagery of the crayons, it's not just a nice detail. It's the bridge connecting 2 generations. It shows us how a dream wasn't lost. It was just transformed, passed on.
Okay, next up is the poem Sepia, which uses imagery to basically time travel. On the one hand, you have this very real, physical image from the past. Auntie's brown hand trembles with age. But then, bam! The speaker looks at an old photo and realizes the girl has Auntie's eyes. In that one moment, decades just collapse. It's not just about family resemblance, it's about seeing how your heritage is a living, breathing part of you right now.
And now for something completely different. The poem Spruce doesn't just tell you about a family's musical tradition, it makes you hear it. The whole poem is filled with the sounds of these beautiful spruce wood instruments, but the real magic is a line like this. Taka, taka, taka. That's pure onomatopoeia. It's not describing clapping, it is the sound of clapping. It's a tool that just perfectly captures the raw, unfiltered joy of a family making music together.
So, we've looked at the tools, we've seen them at work, but what does it all add up to? What's the big picture here? How do these little technical choices create such deep emotional lessons about family?
This table really pulls it all together nicely. In Artist to Artist, that amazing imagery of the crayons teaches us about sacrifice and how dreams get passed down. In Sepia, it's the figurative language, that comparison of the eyes, that shows us how deeply we're connected to our ancestors. And in Spruce, onomatopoeia just lets us feel the pure joy of a family tradition. See? Each tool unlocks a totally different kind of meaning.
And that brings us right back to where we started.
It was never a secret code. These tools, rhythm, rhyme, imagery, they're not there to confuse you. They're just part of a craft, carefully picked out by the poet, to tell our most important stories with all the depth and feeling they truly deserve.
Okay, so we've seen how these incredible poets capture their family stories. It kind of makes you think, doesn't it? It's only natural to turn the camera back on ourselves and ask, what are the stories, the traditions, and the lessons hiding in your own family?
And this is the final thought I really want to leave you with, and it comes straight from our source material. After everything we've talked about, this is the big one. What are the sacrifices, the resemblances, the shared joys in your own story? What can our families teach us about ourselves? Now that is a story worth exploring.